Hello, welcome to Play to the Whistle, episode 46. Another Euros roundup of the last 16. Myself, Jesse, and I'm joined with T.Dot. How you doing?
Good, man. What you saying? You good?
Yeah, man, all good, man. We've had a brilliant round, really, full of drama,
A lot of drama.
madness, a lot of crazy stuff happening in these last four games. Um, I'm trying to think. Was it the France game? That wasn't
Yeah.
the first game.
No, there was
Italy, Austria.
that was the first of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Italy, Austria. Another one.
But Belgium, Portugal.
Yeah. But what I noticed with all of these games, I thought and it kind of shows with the pattern how the Euros has gone so far. Yeah, I feel like we get reactionary sometimes when watching the matches, and everyone gets a bit like, "Oh my god, this team's not playing good," so write them off, and
Mm,
then they come through. That's what was happening when I was watching the Italy game, judging by
mm.
the timeline. But I don't know what your thoughts were on that game. Firstly, to
On
start
the
off with,
Italy game,
yeah,
it was a strange game because I think the 2-1 doesn't really show, for me, doesn't show a true reflection of that game. Because I think there were parts where Austria were playing really good football. I just don't think, and obviously it took for extra time for us to get any goals. I think it was 0-0 up until extra time. I think the 95th minute was the first goal went in. I still think, for me, I still think Italy are. I still dub them like a dark horse. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not to say that they're a dark horse because they're the underdogs. I just think out of the teams left, they're the ones that you kind of think, okay, if they win it, no one really had them to win at the start. It was either France or, obviously, people have been saying about England as well. But um, I think they've got enough about them. I think Jorginho has been pivotal for them. Obviously, we've spoken, I know you have as well, about Spinazzola, how well he's played as well. He's been brilliant for them. Um, so yeah, I think they've got. I still think they've got enough about them, and obviously Donnarumma as well in goal. I think he's a brilliant goalkeeper. Bonucci as well. So they've got enough about them to definitely progress. And I think obviously they've got Belgium now in the quarterfinal. So I think in terms of the Austria game, I think it was unfortunate for Austria because I think they did play really good football, but it just shows that Italy have still got that quality in them, regardless of whether it was extra time or not. When they went through, they still done the job at the end of the day.
yeah. I echo a lot of that. I thought it was obviously a step up from the matches, the teams that they played in their group because um, it- Austria played that faster tempo. They were more aggressive with the press. They gave Italy some new things to think about, really, that they didn't have to deal with in the group. And I felt like they had their moments in the game. And I noticed they was trying to play the ball in behind not quite a few times, but it worked a couple of times, and Arnautovic got in. But I
Mm,
felt like once they made the changes, um, they took control of the game and in extra time. And I did notice during the game, I think it was Berardi and Verratti, they wasn't really at it. And they was obviously the big change. Well, especially Verratti was the big change from the group stage matches instead of obviously usually going with Locatelli. But yeah, once he brought Pessina on and he brought on Chiesa, I thought that made the difference. And they're just a unit, man. They play together as a team, and like as we've seen with some of the other teams like France, when you play together and you got that togetherness as a group and you do it for each other, you can grind out them results in them moments. But I felt like they deserved the result in the end anyway.
100%, 100%. I think I agree with you as well in terms of that kind of unity amongst the team. Obviously, we did see that with France, and I do think they were very not unfortunate because I think obviously Switzerland played very well in their game. Probably the best game, if not of the tournament so far. Yeah, I mean, what was your thoughts? For me, I was surprised that they didn't go through. But what was your thoughts?
With the France situation, yeah, everyone's shocked, man. Like we're all shocked because I had them down as winners, or
That's
at
true.
least to get to the final. So, but look, it's kind of what we touched on in the Euros preview episode, man. Like we touched on some of the problems that they had coming into the tournament. they obviously resurfaced or was a mainstay during this tournament for them. And, you know, in the end, you're not really that surprised with the implosion. It's just, you know, we've seen this a few times at tournaments now for France. And, you know, it's another one of those. Obviously, we heard that Rabiot was arguing with Pogba in the changing room, and his mum, Rabiot's mum, was arguing in the stands with Mbappe's father, and you know she's criticizing Mbappe while he's on the pitch, saying he's arrogant and all this type of stuff. So it's just a full scale implosion, really. But
do you think that's what cost them in the end, in terms of not progressing, all that disruption and backroom stuff that was obviously going on? Do you think that cost them the chance of going through to the quarterfinals?
I think you have to. It's a factor, definitely. Whether it was the main factor, we don't know, but it's definitely a factor. You can't have all that kind of stuff going on coming into an international tournament expecting to win it. You know, it takes a squad has to be united and together. And if there's any disjointment in that squad, things like that can happen. What happened to them? I also thought, even watching the game, I felt like in the first half they were a bit. I don't want to say arrogant, but like they kind of just was kind of swanning around the pitch in the first half, as if
taking in their stride a little bit, and they weren't really.
Yeah, like I think they took Switzerland for granted. And you know, us as fans, we talk about the game, we might write Switzerland off, but you getting on the pitch, crossing the green line, you got to take them serious. You know what I mean? And you have to get the job done. And I just felt like that was a kind of an issue for them. And they've got a few players like that, you know. I know I just mentioned Mbappe, but even before the tournament started, I remember watching the Man City game when they lost in the semi-final.
Yeah.
And they went down to 10 men, and he's like walking around the pitch and that, and he's not really putting it in. And like, you know, he's one of them. What I've noticed with him now is he's really electric once the team gets the ball. When they don't have it, he kind of switches off. And I was kind of seeing that in that game as well. And not just this game, but throughout the tournament. And I'm not gonna. I never hammer someone for missing a penalty, but I'm starting to feel like maybe he thinks he's already like. Look, he's one of the best players in the world, but he's young and
his own hype.
Yeah, he's young. He's got his
own hype in it.
Yeah, and I feel like we're seeing touches of that with him now. And look, obviously, hopefully, this tournament's a wake up call for him, because it's the first thing. He's not really the first thing, because I know he's not really had the best season in PSG ever, but it's the first like stumbling block in his career. So hopefully, you know, he can sort himself out and recover from it. But yeah, it was a big shock. But you have to also credit Switzerland, because on the day they were fantastic, man. Xhaka was brilliant in midfield.
Xhaka was brilliant, man. I was just about to say.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was brilliant in midfield, man. I know obviously like a lot of people, especially Arsenal fans, can't stand him, but we've seen that in this tournament as well. I think we've seen a lot of guys step it up when they play for their countries now. And I know it's something that was thrown at a couple players here and there, but I've noticed it across the board with a lot of teams now, that a lot of guys just playing through their skin. Maybe it's a more comfortable environment. They're with their countrymen. It's different. They're playing for their nation. There's more pride.
I think. Yeah, it's pride.
More pride. Yeah, and it's making them step up their levels. And he was definitely one of them. He was brilliant. But again, exactly what I was saying about France, Switzerland played with that togetherness as a group. And they never gave up, man. Like they went 2-1 down or 3-1 down. They didn't give up. They kept going. They kept fighting. And they fully deserved it in the end, man.
Yeah, no, I have to agree, man. And I think it's going to be interesting, because obviously Switzerland plays Spain. Another brilliant game, Spain-Croatia as well.
Brilliant game. Brilliant game.
That was just said before tournament, and the game was the France one, but you're going to have to put this one up there as well. What was your thoughts about that game, man?
Listen, I think I was watching, and this is the truth here. I was watching a game. It was time to do a feed, and I think there was stoppage time, and it was 3-1. I made the bottle, came back, and it was going extra time. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, what? I thought the game was done.
I locked it off at 3-1 to get the kids ready for bed, and
but remember, it was 3-1 in stoppage time.
Yeah, I know. That's why I locked it off.
Yeah, and I came back and thought, what's going on? But and that's kind of the weakness for Spain, is the back four, isn't it? And
the defense,
and they're able to switch off the mistake for the first goal by the keeper. by the keeper and Pedri.
Match fixing,
It
man.
looks
That's
like
match fixing.
it looked like to me that he was when you. It's that thing of playing out from the back, isn't it? So it looked like to me he was thinking about what he was going to do with the ball next, rather than concentrating on the touch. But
It happened
they
to
recovered.
Kepa, I think, as well, didn't it? Or yeah, it was
Yeah,
Kepa one of the games. Yeah, but you're right.
yeah. They obviously recovered from it. I thought Pedri was brilliant for them again. Apart from that, well, that goal wasn't really his fault. Koke was good in that game as well, and you have to credit them as a group. Man, Sarabia played well as well. You've got to credit them. They come back from it and got through, man. I think they had 5 different goal scorers. I think that's the first time that's ever happened as well. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but same thing, man. That togetherness got them through that game, and then that resilience, innit? Obviously, look, they've got quality players as well, but yeah, they done well, man. To get to recover in the end, even though it shouldn't have went extra time.
When you look at the Croatia team, because I think obviously they've got like Luka Modric and Kovacic, Vida as well. They've got some. They have got some good players in that team. They got to obviously the semi-finals of the World Cup not too long ago. But do you see them ever getting to that stage again, or was that just kind of like a Wales where it was like a fluke almost, where they just got to there because of the teams that they played?
No, I don't think it was a fluke, because obviously they've got history, haven't they? You know, they've World Cup '98, they got to the semi-finals. I think Euros, they got to quarterfinals before as well. I think Euro 2008, they got to the quarters. I think they're just a country that will always they'll come again. They'll always produce players, and they'll be back. Even now, I think there was I can't remember his name. There was a 19-year-old that came on for them in midfield.
He came on. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll have players coming through again, and they'll have their time again. And even in this midfield now, Modric is obviously like 35, but Brozovic isn't that old. Kovacic isn't that old either, and Vlasic and Rebic is young as well. So they'll qualify for the World Cup, definitely.
Yeah, 100%, man. But let's move to the big one, man, because I can't.
It's coming home. It's coming. I told
Listen,
man. Listen.
It's looking like it's coming home, man. I can't even lie. Like it looks like
Listen.
it's literally gonna come home. But before the game, what was your thoughts? Because obviously we can talk about it now and we can talk about it calmly. But before the game, to be fair, we've already said that German team isn't the best German team already. It's dead.
Listen. I said this, yeah, and I said this, look, and I said it on Twitter, so it's the proof's out there. I said it the day before the game. I knew he was going to beat them, man, because it's what we said in the preview, and it's what we said during the tournament. Like, in every game that they've played, we've seen holes in their team. We've seen holes in their defence. The type of goals that they conceded, it's there. It's night and day. And I look at them as one of them teams that switched to a back three because they're not confident in their defenders. Because they were all shaky at times for different reasons. And one thing I knew that we had over them was if we pressed them and we played with pace and intensity, I knew that would be too much for them. And I think you could see from even when the game started, they looked kind of, I don't want to say petrified, but they didn't look confident.
They looked nervous.
They didn't look confident. They looked nervous, and they didn't, you know, I don't know if it was through instructions, but the wing backs weren't getting forward like they was before. And look, I said on the pod before, man, I felt like they had that advantage, like we have so far as well, but they had that advantage of playing all their group stage matches in Germany behind their own fans. And maybe, you know, they've come to England and it was a bit much for them, but I thought we were brilliant.
Massive difference. It makes a massive difference, I think. What was it, 60,000 or just below? It's something like that, 50 or 1,000 in Wembley. So that makes a massive difference when you haven't played in front of a crowd for near enough 12 months, and then you got that big atmosphere there. So it makes a massive difference.
And we was brilliant. That's the other thing as well. Like we changed the formation, which look, we kind of expected it, obviously, because the press like to leak the team. They want the team to do well, but they want to leak the starting lineup half a day before the game, which is ridiculous. But so we knew he was kind of switching to a back three. But look, and I said this on Twitter as well. It's like once we switch formation, we've played that formation before anyway. That's what we got to semi-finals with. Chelsea played that formation. City have switched to that formation at times. Most of them players have played in the back three with wing backs. Man United have played that formation as well. So it was new to none of them, so they could definitely do it. And yeah, I thought Calvin Phillips and Rice were good in midfield, especially Calvin Phillips. I thought he's brilliant. The front three, I thought Saka and Sterling did really well in particular. And I was really happy with Luke Shaw as well, man. I thought he was brilliant going down the left, man. And I've got to shout Carl Walker as well. Sorry. I thought in the back three, he done really well. Done really well when he like slotted in there. But obviously, again, he's played there before. So, and there was just a lot of positives, man. Like, I'm happy, obviously, Sterling got another goal, even though like people were just trying to slate the life out of him. As usual, even though he's top goal scorer so far in the tournament. And it's good for Harry Kane to finally get a goal as well, man. That'll be good for his confidence.
He needed that. He needed that.
Forward. He needed it desperately. And even Grealish as well, coming on again, another assist. So I think this is the difference as well. Even when you look back at the 2018 squad, I feel like this squad, in that 3 years, way more players have come through. The youngsters have developed, and now they're showing that they're ready to be on this stage, man. And we didn't have this. We didn't have options coming from the bench like we do now. Like
I think that's the difference, though, isn't it? Now I think
100%.
Before it was you had maybe one or two. We've got a luxury midfield bench to choose from. There's conversations of leaving Foden out or Mason Mount out, and that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, you've got enough depth in there now, which we've probably had in tournaments previous, but not to this extent. And even even when you look at the defense though as well, when you look at the defenders that we've got, and we was all kind of slating him for bringing Ben White and that, I kind of now see why. I can see why he did that. Because if you bring a Ward-Prowse, is he even gonna be like Sancho's not even playing? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So, and when you look at the whole squad, I think the only player that's not played is Cody, if I'm correct. Apart from obviously the other goalkeepers.
And the goalkeeper,
apart from them, and it's an interesting one. I don't know if it's a debate to be had, but I think this is the strongest squad we've had in a long time, man.
100%, man.
Even if you go back to, I'm not going to compare it to the Euro 2004, World Cup 2016. That was a great team of players, but there weren't really a lot of depth there.
There were good players in the team.
We had Gerrard, Beckham's. Yeah, we had Gerrard and Beckham and Lampard and Joe Cole as the midfield. And I think on the bench we might have had a Carrick or Hargreaves, but there wasn't a lot of there wasn't depth. It wasn't a debate. This is a debate. Every time someone gets left out, there's outrage. That's how good the attacking options are in this team.
It's rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Because we could all pick a different front three if it's a back four and it's a 4-3-3. We could all pick a different one, or with the front three with the wing backs, and it's all going to be good because of the options that we've got. But I thought we fully deserved it against Germany, man. I thought we played really well. We played the game, not the occasion. Saka was brilliant again. Yeah, we was good, man, to a man. And they have to say fair play to Southgate as well, because look, he changed the formation, still ain't conceded, and right now I feel like everyone's just got to get behind it now, man. Just get behind it.
Literally,
don't matter what team he picks now. Just get behind it.
Just be confident, man. Just
be confident. Yeah. That's what I saw the team and thought, okay, cool, he's changed it, but
I didn't even talk about it anymore. I don't.
No, neither did I really. I just looked at it from a positive and looked at the changes he made and thought, okay, that's how we can win the game. Then if we use them certain players to get through in them situations, then we'll win.
Gotta remember as well, he's one of these. Obviously, people slate Gareth Southgate, but at the same time as well, like you just said, we haven't conceded a goal. I think we're the only nation now that hasn't done that. He's got things right. Fair enough, he's played defensively in the group stages, but for him to switch it up, knowing that he's got to do that, I said to someone earlier that you can't really get away with scoring one goal in a knockout tournament game sometimes, because it doesn't really work that way. You might be able to do it, but then you get an early goal. Are you going to expect it to defend for 60 minutes, 70 minutes or whatever? So you kind of need the other goal. And I think throughout that game, the other day, I think you could always sense there was going to be another goal. As soon as Grealish came on, you could sense there was going to be a goal, whether it was going to be Kane or whoever, but you could sense there was going to be something. But I just think this is if we don't win the Euros with this squad, I'll be shocked. I
think it looks like that now. Yeah, it looks like that now. All the teams who's worried about are gone.
The group of death
France are
killed
gone.
off
Portugal's.
the group of death killed off all of them. All four teams
Yeah,
didn't make it. You know what I mean? So it
no,
literally
no,
is the group of death.
there's no Holland either. A lot of teams have got knocked out, but that's also a warning because I think we have to, as much as I'm confident, yeah, we've got to take, like I said about France, like we're fans, we can say what we want to say, man. Like I could say we're going to beat Ukraine, we're going to steamroller them, blah, blah, blah. But the players have to take it serious. They got to focus and they've got to, whatever team he selects, they've got to just work hard and get the job done because Ukraine's not going to be easy. They've played well so far in this tournament, man. No one gave them a chance of even being where they are. And they deserve the way they played against Sweden. They deserve to win, and you have to be worried about them definitely.
And I think, like I said before, I think knockout games it can go either way. It can go either way. We could be the better team
Exactly.
on the day, but if we're not on it, then it doesn't
So
matter
that
that we've
matters.
probably got better squad. It doesn't matter if we don't turn
Look,
up. We've seen what
you only have
happens.
to.
So,
There we go. And what happened in 2016?
mm.
Do you know what I mean? Against Iceland. So anything can happen. I
Yeah,
was
try to forget about
fuming that night. Fuming that night. But anything can happen. So as the players stepping on the pitch, you've got to take it serious. Give 100%. The basics, innit? Not even the basics. They should be a given, but not be nervous, not let the occasion get to them. Play the game, work hard, and show our level of quality that we've got is a lot more, not more than theirs, but we are the better team, so we should beat them.
Yeah, and I think looking at the results that we've had so far and the way that we've played as well, I would expect to win, but it's knockout tournament football. Anything can happen. Penalties, I'm not really interested in them. So 90 minutes, we've got to
One
finish
thing,
the game off.
yeah, definitely. The only thing I'll say about the Ukraine game, what I want to see from Gareth, if it's not working, change it quickly.
Change it.
Because
Yeah,
what
100%.
that's the one thing I did notice in the Italy game when they played Austria was that the players he took off, I think he took them later on in the game. You could see from 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in, just before half time, they weren't having a good game. Even just after half time, you could see the same that they needed to come off. So that's the only thing I want to see. If there's guys that ain't, and really, to be honest, it hasn't really happened with us so far. But if it does, then just
Yeah,
make them
you got to
changes
act
quick.
fast. You got to act fast. I think
Yeah,
he brought off Saka, I think in the 70th or 69th minute or something like
for
that
Grealish, yeah.
for Grealish, and that was the first one. And I think
But that
the
was
second
okay
as well.
because
No, it was a
that
good
one was
switch
okay
because I
because
think it made
yeah,
sense. It made sense to do that,
and
but I just think you've got to do that a bit earlier because that could have been 10 minutes earlier. Everyone
yeah,
was screaming
Saka was
for it.
playing. To be
You know what I
fair,
mean?
to be fair, I think Saka was actually playing well, but it
I just
was
you need
good
sometimes
to.
you got to change it though. You just got to
Yeah,
change it
I
and
was
give
gonna
something.
say that's what.
You got to give Germany something to think about as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say because he was playing well, but then you bring on a Grealish, he's bringing something completely different to the table and something new to think about. So and that's the other thing as well. Sometimes you make changes; they're not always because the player's playing badly. You might be
Yeah,
playing well,
just
but
tactical.
you might just need something different. So, but yeah, I'm confident with that game, man. Confident.
Yeah. Who does worry me? We spoke about unity. Denmark. I do look at Denmark and I think no one really gave them a chance after their first game, their opening game, with everything that happened in that game. And then they've kind of just slowly gone on about their business. And you look at the kind of, I think they beat, trying to think who they beat now, Wales 4-0. I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Wales are Wales, and obviously they still had Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale. But Denmark are just slowly going about their business, not really impacting anything. No one's really talking about them. Can you see them progressing against Czech Republic?
I can see anything happening now. To be honest with you, man, I feel like this tournament's got shades of 2004, where like anything can actually happen, man. Look, France have already gone, Holland's already gone, Portugal's already gone, Germany's already gone. So
Big hitters.
big hitters have already gone, man. Anything can actually happen. Czech Republic have actually played really well this tournament. I don't know if I gave them a chance of getting out the group, but they've done really well, man. And they just, again, they know what they're good at. They stick to that. They're not that flashy. They don't try and they just work hard as a team. And when they get their chances, they take them. So that would be an interesting game. I think that's going to be a really good game, man. I don't. That's a genuine 50-50 game for me. That could go extra time and everything.
I think they all are, man. Just looking at them now, I think obviously Belgium, Italy, Switzerland, Spain, Ukraine, England, Czech Republic, Denmark. Honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I couldn't call any of them. I couldn't call any of them games. Maybe the
Yeah.
Spain, Switzerland,
Well,
I could potentially
I think we're
quite, but
beating it. No, I think we're going to beat Ukraine. I can call that one. The Belgium Italy game, that will be interesting because the way I felt like, not, I don't want to say lucky, but I think Portugal were the better team in that game. They had the better chances as well. They just
yeah,
didn't put them away. And they were kind of hanging on towards the end in that game. And look, De Bruyne came off again. We don't know if he's fit, if he's going to be available in
and
that game.
Hazard as well.
Hazard was, yeah, he was all right. You can kind of see he looks like he's getting slightly fitter. He's getting a. I saw that some of the times when he's running with the ball against Portugal, he looks like there's a bit more like acceleration in what he's doing.
I just don't know if he's going to be
But
fit for the game though.
but I don't know if he's going to be fit for the game
yeah.
because he come off with a hamstring, didn't he?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think he's
yeah.
going to be. I don't think he's going to be fit. It's going to be a race
No.
against time anyway if he's fit. And if he does
But
play, I don't
I
think he'll play
think
the full 90.
no. And to be quite honest with you, even with them, I still would have seen Italy beating them because it's that defense again, man. Like, and it's not really been tested yet. This is going to be its. They got kind of tested against Portugal, but they were hanging on, defending deep towards the end of the game. But I feel like, if De Bruyne is somehow on the pitch, if Hazard's on the pitch, then maybe. But I see Italy getting the win, man.
Yeah, I do. I see them going to the. I can see Italy. This is how I see it now. Italy, England final, and let the best team win. Because I think that'd be a really
Yeah,
good final. I think for me personally, obviously with England in the final, that would be the best outcome for me. And obviously, in
yeah.
England go on to win it, but it's going to be interesting. I think they're being played tomorrow, Saturday. Well, Friday, Saturday, the games are being played. So next recording, we'll know if it's still coming home or not, or
Yeah, definitely.
whether it's going on onto someone else's turf instead. But yeah, interesting games, man. But just want to move over to switch it from the Euros because there's been some action in the Premier League last couple of weeks or days, I should say. Obviously, Spurs finally got their manager after 10 weeks, which is crazy. I think that's mental. I think what preseason must start in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Next week.
and yeah, next week, and
Next
they've
week,
only
bro.
just got someone in. Leicester are doing their business. Obviously, United have just got the deal agreed for Sancho as well. Clubs are doing their business, and Spurs are just appointing their manager now. Do you think it's going to work for Nuno at Spurs with the hierarchy that he's got above him?
Yes, I do. Look, and do you know what the funny thing is with football, yeah, and certain fans, and not just the fans, but even maybe the board, Danny Levy and all that, yeah. Sometimes fans get a bit too, like they feel like they're too good for something, if you know what I mean. Like sometimes they get linked to
I get you,
players.
man.
Sometimes they get linked to players, they think they're too good for it, or sometimes they get linked to managers, they think they're too good for it. Like when in reality, like you've got no reason to be thinking that, like with the season that you
True,
just
man.
had. Look, Nuno got. I think we need to put some respect on his name as well because he's
He
got
got Europa
Wolves
twice, didn't he? You got
twice,
Europa twice.
twice, back to back. One of them seasons he got Europa was when they was in the Europa. So you're playing all them matches and extra games.
Thursday
The season
nights.
starts earlier, Thursday nights. Played 60 plus games and still qualified for Europe the next season. Like
Mental.
he's a very good manager. So I don't see why they didn't just go for him in the first place. And the thing with him is obviously we've heard people like Conor Cody talk about him and some of the other Wolves players. They loved playing under him, for the duration of his time being in charge, and he does improve players. We kind of know his system, how they're going to play. He's slightly on the pragmatic side sometimes, but that's fine. I don't like what they need at the moment is they just need to get back into Europe. Like
They need that
they need to
stability
be in.
again.
They need that stability. They need to all be pulling in the right direction. It's obviously the guy. I think his name's Patrici, their footballer, director of
Yeah, he
football.
came from Juventus, didn't he? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and but so he will have a good working relationship with Nuno. He will bring in the players that he wants. So I see actually, I see him doing well. You
I
know,
agree with you 100%. I think a lot of Spurs fans have, not all of them, but the ones that I've come across on Twitter and whatnot, they've been very negative about all the managers that they've been linked with. Whether that was,
it's,
I can't
they
even remember
think
half
they're
of them, but
they think they're Man City. Like
yeah,
this is the problem with them. Like they their expectations are up here when really like they're just down here. Like you're in the Conference League. Like you should be happy with some of these managers that you got linked to and then just accept it. In my opinion, I don't even mean that in a rude way, but like I think Nuno's a great appointment. But I also thought Potter would have been a good appointment. I thought
100%, 100%.
some of the other guys they linked with Fonseca would have been a good appointment. Fonseca's a good manager. They were they were crucifying him as if like he's some unheard of manager just because he got sacked at Roma. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
but
can it goes wrong in a job. It don't make you a bad manager.
yeah, it's true, man. I agree with you
You know,
100%. I think in terms of Nuno being at Spurs, I think it's a really, really good appointment. I think obviously there was talks that Nuno was going to be going, well, either to Everton or to Crystal Palace at one point as well. So I think that may have delayed things. Obviously, I think the guy that you mentioned, the I can't remember his name now. The guy you just mentioned from,
Fonseca.
yeah, Fonseca. He just came into his role officially today, I think. So obviously that's probably one of the deciding factors as well, like why it's all come out now. But I think it's a really good appointment. We've already said I don't think Harry Kane's really going to go anywhere. So you get
It's
him
not enough
tied
money.
down. Yeah,
It's
like
not
it's not.
enough. Look, the
No one's going to
way
buy him.
we've seen, obviously, City putting that 100 million bid, which I think is a good. I think that's a good bid. I think I'd take that if I was them at his age, and they're chucking in a player as well. I think that's good business if it was going to happen. But I don't see it happening. I think Lever is probably going to price them out of that move, and City will just move on to the next target. But yeah, I see him staying. That also might have been part of the reason why the negotiations with managers were dragging out, because maybe some of them wanted assurances that he was going to be there, or they wanted assurances on how much they could spend if he was going to leave. So yeah, I feel like with the way that Nuno plays, they've got them players there. They've got the wingers. They've got the centre midfielder options. For his style of play, they probably just need to sort out the wing backs. I think that's
Well,
where they're lacking.
he's got Doherty there again now, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah, but and that system suits Doherty. You know, he's
Yeah.
not. I don't think he's that good at fullback. And they had a good working relationship, so I think that will work. But they would have to add to it because I know he likes to have two right wing backs. He likes to have two left wing backs. I don't think Davis is, you know, I'm not saying Davis has passed it, but he's not explosive. And I think as a wing back, you need to be explosive, joining in the final third and like being able to play higher up the pitch. So I think that's the way for him. They're probably going to need a centre back and some wing backs. And if they keep Kane, I think Son signed a new deal
He's
or he's
basically
going to
signed
sign a
it
new
now
deal.
anyway.
Yeah. I think they'll have a good season.
If I was a Spurs fan and this was happening now, I'd be optimistic because I think what's the worst case scenario? He's going to end up with Ryan Mason for a full season,
Listen,
and
I don't know
do
what
you
they
know what I mean?
wanted.
Like, yeah, I think
Yeah, bro.
Nuno or Potter would have been the ideal choice for me if I was a
Yeah.
Spurs fan because I think they know the Premier League, they've got the experience in it already as well. Like you said, Nuno can kind of get this team playing how he plays his football as well. So
Yeah.
I just think it's a win-win. If I was a Spurs fan, I'd be happy. But yeah, I know it's crazy. But in terms of unhappy fans, well, I was going to say Liverpool, but it could be Liverpool or Everton. I don't know. It's probably 50-50. But Rafa Benitez, new Everton manager.
Listen, but this is another one as well because I saw some of this on Twitter and like, people are crazy. Like I think people like not crazy. I shouldn't say that, yeah, but forget these allegiances.
Yeah.
Like he managed them like over 10 years ago. Like and he was successful there, and he's been successful most places he's been. So that's the kind of manager that you want at your club.
100%.
Man,
And
and
he's been,
management is not like playing in it. Like those they don't care about allegiances. They just see it as a job and a project.
But that's what it is to them. That is what it
Exactly.
is.
It doesn't take away what he done at Liverpool. He was great at Liverpool. You know, won the 5th Champions League. They won the FA Cup. He done well there. He made them. He solidified them as a Champions League team. He done his thing there.
Yeah,
And
100%.
I know most of Liverpool fans are happy with him and happy with the time that he had at the club. But Everton fans that wouldn't want him because of that doesn't make sense to me. Because who did they want instead? Who was around?
Because to be fair, Benitez is the sort of manager for me that could probably, not that they say play the same style of football, but he could just pick up. He's the same level as Ancelotti to me in some aspects. Not in terms of what Ancelotti's gone on to win at other clubs, etc., but just that level of management. They're almost kind of level with it. And you look at all the other, I mean, they were, like I said, they were linked with Nuno, and this is no disrespect to him, but Nuno isn't a Ancelotti or a Benitez at the moment. So
he's not at Rafa's level. And I think this is the other thing. They've actually got to remember, this is what I'm saying, like, he's won European trophy at Valencia. He won the league there. He won trophies with Liverpool. I think he won the cup with Napoli. He's won trophies at a lot of clubs he's been to. He's a winner. And if the board trusts him and lets him have the level of control that he wants,
I think they will. I think they will.
They'll do well. He'll get that defense. He'll sort the defense out. He'll get the midfield, because I know the most important parts of his teams are the centre midfielders. So if he's not happy with the options he got, he'll bring someone in. But they've got good midfield options. They've got the cusp of a team that can get Europe.
They've got Richarlison as well.
And they got big boy Richarlison, and he might get the best out of Richarlison as well. We don't know. And they've still got Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah,
and Calvert-Lewin is the type of striker. He loves a striker. He loves the target man like that, to play into someone that can win the headers and run in behind and hassle defenders. He loves that. So,
and I think that's why it worked with Ancelotti as well, because he's very similar. He likes that kind of target man as well. Yeah. So I think it's going to work. I think if I was an Everton fan, I'd be made up.
Over the moon.
Yeah, I'd be made up, because allegiances aside and all that,
no one cares.
You could have ended up with a manager that hasn't got that CV, hasn't experienced what Benitez has experienced as well. So, and I think he'll win them over. I think he'll win them over. I think that's a minority that are more pissed off. I don't think that's the majority.
If he'll win them over as soon as they're winning games, football fans are fickle. Like, this is it. And let's be honest, it's the same as when we're talking about style of play with managers as well. Fans will tolerate anything if a team's winning trophies. Don't let no one kids. Like, can't kids me? Do you know what I mean? And we're on the same. Like, we'll take bad style of play if it's bringing trophies in the cabinet. Come on, man.
If Pep had been at City for 15 years and won everything, and then came to United and he's slagged off United, you still take him though, innit? Because
what? This is what I'm saying. Man, look, listen. I'll take Pep. I'll take Klopp. I'll take these men. I don't care. I don't care where they are.
Listen, if they're winning games and trophies, come this way.
Listen, if you can do what you did there, and we got here's your little transfer pot. Go and get your man them. Bro, come on, man. I don't care. Maybe everyone's different. Maybe there's certain Man United fans that I don't want Klopp and I don't want Pep. They're idiots.
I'd have them. Because if you want to see success at your club, regardless of where he's been before and all of that stuff, for me, I just draw a line under it and think, well, that's what he done before. I was going to say something mad, but I forgot we're live as well, so I won't say it. But
we're live.
you draw a line under it, and you move on. You move on.
Listen, rivalries are for football fans, yeah. And sometimes managers get into it as well, but managers usually get into it because they don't like each other. It's nothing to usually with the teams. So if you look at the whole Chelsea Liverpool situation, really came because Rafa and Jose don't like each other.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what I mean? It didn't come from Chelsea hating Liverpool. It came from those two managers, or like a Man United Arsenal was because of Fergie and Wenger. And it stemmed from them. So football, usually rivalries are for fans. But a guy you hit the nail on the head. I'll put him just under that level of Ancelotti, But how many managers are there in that level that are available?
Not many, man.
That are available that want to go to Everton. This is the other thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's true. Who did they want? That's the other thing. Because I haven't asked no Everton fans directly, but honestly, who did they want?
The
because
ones I've spoke to said Rafa.
yeah,
They
exactly
wanted
because of common
Rafa because
sense. It's common sense.
they know what he can bring in. I think some of them wanted Nuno, but like I think Nuno would have struggled with the Everton squad. I think the Spurs job suits Nuno. Rafa being local as well to
Yeah,
Liverpool. Obviously, he's not too far from
yeah,
Liverpool, so it makes sense. It just
hundred
makes
percent.
perfect sense. But I
And
wanted to.
I can see quickly just before we move on. Like I said, look, just listening through some of them Everton players that they've already got, it just suits his thing that he's going to go in there 4-2-3-1 or a 4-5-1, and he's got all the guys that he already needs pretty much,
I think
and he
he'll
might
switch
add
up the
a few.
midfield though. Yeah, I think he'll add some to the midfield and maybe the defense.
Because I know he'll use Allen. I know he would have
Yeah,
Allen because
100%.
I think Allen was at Napoli with him, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
I'm thinking more of like a Tom Davies. I don't think, and Sigurdsson as well. I look at
No,
those
he'll have
kind of players.
Sigurdsson.
Do
He'll
you
use
reckon?
Sigurdsson. Yeah, yeah, he'll use him.
That could be his
Um,
downfall, man.
no, I like Sigurdsson's a good player, man. He's a talented player, and
I
he
like
can always
Gomez actually.
produce.
Gomez is a good
Yeah,
player.
yeah, he'll use Gomez. He'll use them. There's a lot, man. There's already a lot of good players, and they've got money to spend, and he will add very good quality. And I think he's someone that the board should listen to because I remember even when he was at Liverpool and he was trying to get Sergio Aguero from
Yeah,
Argentina. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
think he was having little arguments with the board. They didn't want to spend that much money on a 17-year-old and all this type of stuff. And
Now look,
look what happened. Yeah. So I think he knows football, man, and he cares about projects. He's passionate about them, and he takes his job deadly serious. So he's not thinking about Liverpool and anything like that.
no, I agree, man. I agree. I wanted to touch quickly before we move over to the United news, but I wanted to talk about Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
and their appointment. I think or their mutual agreement so far with Patrick Vieira. Interesting one for me. Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, it's not fully confirmed yet, but he had he had a good spell at Nice, got them into Europe. I think it ended badly because I think they didn't get out their Europa League group, and so I think he moved on. But he was there for 2 seasons, or just over 2 seasons. He done well there. He had his spell in America where he started his career at
City. Yeah.
New York City. Yeah, he done well there. I think it's a good appointment. I feel one thing that's good about it is he understands the Premier League. He understands the physicality of it, the pace of it. So when it comes to looking at targets to sign players, he'll work well with if it's him. I'm talking as if it's him
I
because
mean, it's almost pretty much. I mean,
the last
things can change though, can't they?
the last manager that they had, the Lucien Favre, this was the same. It was confirmed 3-year deal. Then he pulled out last minute. So, not saying that it's confirmed yet,
Yeah, yeah.
but he would work well with Dougie Friedman, the director of football. They would understand what the club needs. He'll probably have a look at some of these guys that are out of contract because they got like 10 players out of contract.
Yeah, just about
He
to
might
say that.
he might want to keep some of them. But I feel like he could do well there, man. I feel like he could do well. He's still got obviously good contacts at City from the time that he worked there. He gave Jack Harrison his debut, the one that's been on loan at Leeds. He gave
Yeah,
him his
yeah,
debut
yeah.
at when he was at New York City because obviously
The link up.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
the link up. Yeah. So he could get some good players on loan from there. He may be able to get some from Arsenal as well.
He's got
And
good
yeah, I
connections,
think
hasn't he?
he's got good connections. But the most important thing is with a foreign manager, the most important thing, same with Rafa, same with Nuno, is that they know the Premier League. Even though he's not managing the Premier League, he's played in the league, he knows it, and he understands it straight away. So he won't be signing the wrong players for it.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see that deal done because I think
But he
very
has
much.
to. One thing I'll say quickly, he has to hit the ground running because to lose so many players,
I was just about to say.
they've got to get the signings right and everything's got to gel quickly. So I don't, I'm not, I'm not
But
too.
that was going to be my question because I think if you look at clubs who've done that, did Fulham not do that a few seasons ago as well? I can't remember if they just come back to the Prem, and I'm sure they bought
Signed too
like
many players.
they signed too many players, and I think Palace not to say that they'll be the same, but they'll have to, if they don't renew a lot of these contracts, which I doubt they will now if they're I mean, they would have expired today, wouldn't they? I think so.
Yeah, but I feel like some of the players were kind of not hanging around, but I feel like some of them are still waiting to see who the next manager would be. And that makes a lot of sense because obviously they can't, the board can't re-sign players on contracts if the next manager doesn't want them. Obviously, Benteke got a new deal, but that kind of makes some sense. And
I'm
only
surprised
if
that
it was like,
Andros Townsend hasn't, has he? I don't think. I think he hasn't signed
I'm
one.
not yeah, but I'm not surprised about that because he's not really been that good. If we're being honest, so
Yeah.
I don't think many. Obviously, some Palace fans might disagree with me, but that's not really one I'm shocked about. To be honest with you,
Do you think he'll get a Prem move somewhere, or do you reckon he'd have to? Do you reckon a Prem team, one of the promoted teams, a Brentford, maybe a Norwich, would think about him?
if they would have already signed him. You know,
Fair point, man.
we have to see. Probably one of them might take a chance, might end up in the Championship.
It's not a bad
He
shout
looks
though, man.
he looks comfortable in Talksport as well. So we're not too sure. He's obviously got a few years left in him. So I'll probably see him at another Premier League club, or more than likely, you probably see him in the Championship.
Yeah. Be interesting. But yeah,
Definitely.
hopefully if they can get the Vieira, that deal signed and delivered and sorted. I'd love to see Vieira as a manager in the Premier League anyway. I think that would be
Yeah, me
interesting.
too. Yeah, and look, and
He was a brilliant
like
player,
what
wasn't he?
yeah, he was. He's a fantastic player, and I think that helps. That helps come on respect in the dressing room straight away, because a lot of them might have been grown up as Arsenal fans. You know how football is. Just because you play for a club don't mean you support them as a kid.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
some of them might have been Arsenal fans when they were dominant, but also he speaks English. He can communicate to the players what he wants straight away, and he understands what the Premier League needs. So he's not, he's a new manager in his career, but he's got experience. He's managed for quite a long time now, so he's not green. He's not that green like a Ryan Mason would have been, or some of these other
Frank
managers.
Lampard.
Yeah, Lambs. Like
Literally.
he's even if he's only been in the MLS and he's been in France, he's still managed longer than
I
some
think
of
that's a
these
good
other.
test for him though, because he's probably got kind of a higher end in France, and no disrespect to the MLS, but the lower end. So he's kind of been in between. So now
Yeah,
he's
different
kind of
experience. Yeah.
stepping up a bit now. So I think if they can get that appointment, I think it'd be brilliant for them. But another bit of news today, obviously Jadon Sancho.
Come on.
I'll put it in caps for you as well. Look, it's in capital letters.
Hey,
You know
listen,
what I'm
come
saying?
on. Do you know what's mad, yeah? Like with this deal, obviously it was dragging and dragging, but in the end, it's kind of good business for the club. There's no add-ons. I think it's only 73, not only, but it's 73 million, no add-ons, compared to that's 35 million less than what they wanted last season.
Last
So,
season.
and fair play to them as well. They had an agreement with him, a little gentleman's agreement. that said, look, stay one more season. He stayed, and they let him go. So they're a club that keeps their word. I think it's a good signing for the club. We need someone that could play on the right. Obviously, I know he's better on the left, but he's such a good player that he can play on the right. And the games I've seen him play on the right, sometimes he's got a mixture about him. So he's not just going to run at a guy and beat him constantly. That's not really his game. He's more of he likes to play. So you get into feet and play 1-2s with people and create openings. And I actually think he'll be good in games when teams are defending low in a low block against us, and I think he'll be good in games like that. But it's a good start to the business. It can't be the only signing.
Well,
They still need to.
there's talk of around 50 million, I think, as well, which is that I know you and Kieran have both spoke about your defense with obviously Lindelof and the issues there. So Varane coming in 50 million, Jadon Sancho, big thing there. Cavani up front, new deal for Cavani.
No, I'm not trying.
Goalkeeper, I don't know, man. Might have to.
I'm not getting gassed about anything yet because nothing's done yet. So we need to sort out centre back. We need to still get a DM as well because
of course.
I feel like I've said this before when we spoke about Sancho on our in United in Depth episode. I was saying to Kieran on that episode that look, if it's only Sancho that comes through the door, it's not going to be a good season because everyone around us is going to improve and sign players, and they've got injured players coming back. That's going to make a massive difference, like for Liverpool. So we still need to sort out the centre midfield situation, and we still need to get a centre back. You know, so if it's only Sancho through the door, it's not good. It's not a good window.
I mean, it's
So
a
nothing to
start.
get.
I think if
It's a
you
start.
look, if
That's
you're looking at
important.
this
It's a
as like
start.
a free season project or something like that, then yeah, it's brilliant business, because I'm sure you're gonna, over that 3 years, you're gonna get the best out of Sancho. But you do need those other players if you want to kick on this season. I think obviously the centre back one is the key one. The DM one, yeah,
It's
that's
just as important.
it is. No, it is, because you don't
It
want to be
is.
seeing Fred and McTominay
No,
playing
because
together.
look,
And
and we've spoken about this as well, because sometimes it might come across as me like slagging them off here. It's not that. It's just that they're all good at the same things.
oh
So
yeah, 100%.
they're all box to box. They all want to win. They're all good at winning the ball high up the pitch. But what they are, none of them are DMs. So they can't sit in front of the back four. They can't screen. They're not comfortable taking the ball off the defenders. So Fred isn't. Neither is Scott McTominay. So you do need someone to come in there that can do that. And I don't feel like we're going to move forward until we sort out them two positions, because scoring goals last season wasn't really an issue for United. The issue was at the back.
The defense.
So the defense and just in front of the defense was always the issue. So until they sort that out, then there's no guarantees to what United can do next season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, because I think you're right. I think obviously you look at Liverpool, Van Dijk coming back. They're going to obviously buy. I think they've already been into the transfer market already. City, now kind of question marks around that Haaland deal. They've let Sancho go. Can they afford to let Haaland go in the same season? Are they willing to
No.
to let him have that buyout clause next season after this one? I don't think he's
Yeah, I
going to go
think
anywhere now, myself.
no, I don't. Haaland's not going anywhere. I think they've already said that they're not going to sell Sancho and Haaland in the same window,
Yeah.
and
They can't afford to.
they can't afford to, and I don't think they will. And I think Haaland would accept that. He's not going to kick up a fuss. He'll just play the season and go next summer. But look, City have obviously, they've been linked to Kane, they've been linked to Grealish. Both great signings if they pull them off. And they both give them different options that they don't really have at the moment. So that would be good. That would be good. Yeah. I think City's main issue actually is they've got to sort out the players that are a bit disgruntled. Because I know Laporte was unhappy,
I think
Sterling was
Silva, was
unhappy,
it Bernardo Silva as well? I'm sure
and
there was
Bernardo
talks.
Silva, I think he
Yeah,
might have been another one. So they
yeah,
got to sort out all them situations as well. Like, and if they see people like Grealish coming in that plays their position, that might affect it. But we have to see. They've got obviously still got a brilliant squad, but we're still really early into this transfer window. And while the Euros is still going on, a lot of things ain't going to happen. So once Euros is done, we'll start to see some of these clubs really move for players.
and I think as well, I think a lot of clubs will try and get a lot of deals done early on before preseason actually kicks in, because I think I haven't really looked into other clubs, but I think from a Chelsea perspective, I think a lot of our preseason's local. Like, we're not traveling obviously because of COVID, so we want to try and get that team together. We're going to be playing local. I think we've got like a tournament with things like Spurs and Arsenal in like an Audi Cup kind of competition sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But it'd be interesting, because I think obviously from a Chelsea perspective, we still kind of want that striker, that number 9. Obviously Lukaku was on that list. Haaland was on that list. That was probably the unrealistic one, but I think we still need, and obviously there's talk about Tammy Abraham going to Villa, 45 million. So,
Wow.
we've got to get the number 9 in, I think, from Chelsea. But in terms of United, I agree with you. I think, getting that DM centre back, obviously you kind of sorted out that kind of area with Sancho, but and Cavani, I think, will be brilliant next season as well. We proved it this season, so
Yeah,
it'll be
I think
interesting.
it will be interesting, man. Attacking options. The only thing I could see the club doing is I think Dan James probably needs to go out on loan. Diallo needs to go out on loan as well. They just need to play football and they
Proper
need
game time.
experience, proper game time. I'd keep Martial because I think the injury situation with Rashford, I think you need that other option on the left anyway. You need 2 options in each position really, and I feel like that'll be the reason why we keep him, is he can play on the left and he can play up front, and he's still going to score goals when he's on it and confident. So I just think, yeah, they need to sort out DM and then need to sort out centre back. Yeah, imperative.
I agree, man. It'll be interesting. But yeah, Euros first, Premiership second. Big weekend of football. Saturday. In fact, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just gassed for Saturday. I can't even lie, man. I think eight
Yeah,
o'clock
man.
kickoff.
I'm excited, man. I'm buzzing for it, and yeah, I think we'll win. To be quite honest with you, man, I think we'll win. We'll get the result, and off to the semi-finals, man. It's coming home.
I'm gonna ask you this. If we get to the final and it's Italy, are we beating them in full time?
Yes.
It's coming home, man.
Yeah. That's a tough game. It's not an
Yeah.
easy game at all. That's a tough game, man. But we've got the tools to beat anyone left in the tournament now. Spain as well. You can't write off Spain, man, because Spain are not the best. This ain't the best Spain team we've seen in the last 10, 15 years, but they've got enough about them to get results and get the job done as well. You know.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I wouldn't write them off either, man. But it's coming home.
It's coming home, man. It's coming
It's
home.
coming home, man.
I did say on the last episode, I'm going to say that on every episode from now until
Yeah,
it comes
man.
home. So
Yeah,
it's coming
because we
home.
was really, because the pessimists didn't want to jump on board. But look, we beat Germany now. You get me? Got out the group. We ain't conceded a goal. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out Pickford as well, because as much as he hasn't really had much to do, he's one of them where we were talking about Xhaka earlier when it comes to country and the pride thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that with Jordan Pickford, because he's not making any mistakes. So yeah, big up Pickford, man.
But also, do you know what though? I feel like with a lot of teams, a lot of nations, you're playing for pride, yeah, but it's just you're playing in a better atmosphere as well. You're playing a better not a better dressing room,
sometimes
but
with better players though as well. Let's be real.
Better players as well is a big factor. And it's just like what we've seen with this England team. Like they all like each other. Like they all seem like they're actually friends. They get along with each other. Like there's not like this like, oh, you play for Man United and you play for Chelsea and you play.
Yeah,
there's none of that with this team.
Gone now, where they
gone.
They never used to sit on the same table. Like if you was United and
yeah,
I don't know, Gerrard was on the Liverpool table, whereas now you can see that there's that banter amongst the group. Do you know what I mean? Like they're all,
and he's got them all sitting on, like, I think I was watching an interview somewhere. He's changed the layout of like the canteen, and like they all sit together now. There's bigger tables that fit more people on them, so there's less of that kind of like click stuff happening. But you can kind of tell that anyway, because like they just all look like they don't all look like they're having a laugh, but they all look like they enjoy each other's company, like they get along with each other, and there's like loads of banter flying around. It looks like a good place to be, man.
You need that, I think,
because of course you do.
You know,
you can't win a trophy without that.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's coming home, man. I'm not even gonna lie. It's coming home.
100%, man. 100%. This is our decade.
Yeah, imagine a week Sunday. The episode we record is going to be like 2 hours long. I'm not even gonna lie, and we're recording it. We might have to record straight after.
Listen, do you know it's mad. It's crazy, but yeah, hopefully we get there, man, because we need a final, man.
100%, man.
We need to be in the final.
But yeah, for the listeners, you can follow us on Twitter at the PTTW podcast, and also on Instagram with the same handle, the PTTW podcast. YouTube, search us, PTTW podcast. Like, subscribe, interact with us on there. All the subscribers, we need a lot of that, so make sure you click subscribe as well. Obviously, Jesse, your handle's on there, but for the people that can't see it, just let the listeners hear that handle.
Yes, my handle's Jess2889. That's on everything.
Yeah, I changed mine now. So this is T.Dot. I think on Twitter, that's the one I use. So yeah, just follow me on there. But yeah, this has been episode 46 of Play to the Whistle podcast. Until next time, yeah, just keep it easy, people.
It's coming home.